Welcome to this video where we will learn about the legendary Saiva Saint Chandeswara Nayanar. He hailed from the town of Tirusennalur, which was part of the Chola kingdom. The present-day location of Tirusennalur is also known as Sennalur and Sanganur. It can be found a few miles southwest of the town of Tiruppanandal, near the banks of the Manni river, which is relatively close to the Kollidam river. As the legendary young saint Thiruñana Sambandar of the 7th century in the Common Era has praised Chandeswara Nayanar in some of his great Thurkkadaas hymns, we can confirm that Chandeswara Nayanar has lived prior to Thiruñana Sambandar's time. At the same time, as the wonderful Tirumular has praised Chandeswarar in his glorious Tirumandiram, we can say that Chandeswara Nayanar's life was before or during Tirumular's lifetime. Chandeswara Nayanar's Guru Puja is annually celebrated on the Uttaram Nakshatram of the Tamil month of Thai, which is usually from mid-January to mid-February. Circular Swamy has shared Chandeswara Nayanar's glories with the rest of the world in his amazing Periya Puranam, and has in fact dedicated 60 songs to him in these great works. Chandeswara Nayanar's glories have also been shared by many other saints too, which we shall revisit later. Now we know a few details about Chandeswara Nayanar, let's learn a bit more about his story. In the great town of Tirusennalur, where Mother Nature was truly embraced, and where these lands in the Chola kingdom were hydrated well, due to the presence of the prosperous Kaveri, Kollidam and Manni rivers, where the mighty Lord Muruga worshipped Lord Shiva, and was blessed with the powerful Sarva Sangara Pade weapon in his successful campaign to overcome the evil and tyrannical Asuras, and hence became the reason of the name of the town, with Sei meaning Lord Muruga and Nallur meaning good town. In Tirusennalur, where learned Vedic scholars were found in abundance, where the Vedas were constantly being recited and thus were echoing, where many sacred fire offerings took place out of love towards the all-loving Lord, where long and picturesque streets were present and where many flowers and paddy fields bloomed, where cows roamed in large numbers, lived a great family who were Brahmins. A man in this family, known as Yachadatta, was a personification of good and evil in one being. At the same time, his better half was a pure soul who dedicated her life to the Lord and to serve his people. She was known as Pavitre, which means pure and immaculate. Such was the all-loving Lord's mercy and grace that he blessed her with an immaculate son, who would be a leading example for his people, and whose deeds the Lord himself would immortalize for the benefit of mankind. He was named Visara Sarma, and from birth he was in an environment surrounded by love for the Lord and the Vedas. Even at the tender age of 5 years, such was the Lord's grace that Visara Sarma became a master of the Sivagamas and other important Vedic knowledge, even before his formal schooling began. Due to his natural mindset of desiring to learn more, the humble, quick-witted and loving Visara Sarma was developing into an excellent student and human being. By the time he reached the age of 7, his family organized his sacred thread ceremony and upheld their clan traditions of initiating him into the formal study of the Vedas. Such was the glory and aura of this young lad, who shared such wonderful intelligence at such a small age, that his teachers could not quite believe what they were seeing in front of them. For the young Visara Sarma already acknowledged the all-loving Lord's grace in everything around him, and knew that fully surrendering to the grace of the Lord and his dancing feet would be the ultimate goal of all life. And thus, day by day, this young boy's love for the Lord grew, and he understood that devotion towards the all-loving Lord was a sweet duty he must fulfill. On one particular day, as he travelled with his fellow Vedic learners, alongside some roaming and loving cows, he saw the sight of a cow who had only recently become a mother, who was about to charge the cowherd who was supposed to look after her, only for this particular cold-hearted cowherd to hit her violently and repetitively with a stick. The young and dutiful Visara Sarma became extremely saddened to witness such a cruel act, and immediately, realizing he had certain responsibilities to look after the Lord's creations, immediately called out this cowherd, prevented him from causing further harm to the innocent creature, and spoke to him with emotion, for he could not withstand such unrighteous actions. Visara Sarma, realizing he had to share the truth about cows with this cowherd, spoke caringly and shared that, by birth, they are superior to all species of life, and that such is their greatness that only these loving mothers can provide the amazing Panchakavya, milk, ghee, curd, cow urine and cow dung, for the holy bath of the all-loving dancing Lord. Such is their prestige and importance, for they are also one of the reasons the sacred ash exists, which the Lord, who is the cause of all, wears all over his body. And thus, is there any limit to their greatness? When the all-loving Lord himself and the goddess of the celestials ride the bull as their vehicle, aren't all these cows part of that very same family? And thus, the young, intelligent and loving Visara Sarma concluded by stating, there is no duty superior to that of grazing and fostering the kine with their calves in the proper and pleasing way. This indeed is the way to hail the feet of the Lord who dances in the Ambalam. And thus he kindly asked the cowherd to stop tending to the cows, and that he himself will look after them henceforth.